The loudest person in the room is never the most powerful. They are the most anxious. Noise is not dominance. It is the sound of someone trying to convince themselves they exist. The person who says nothing, who observes without reacting, who listens without needing to respond. That person does not make you uncomfortable by accident. As Epictetus wrote centuries ago, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But this is not about listening. This is about what silence communicates when it is chosen deliberately. You know the feeling. You walk into a meeting. Someone immediately fills the silence, talking about everything, explaining everything, justifying everything. And then there is one person who does not. They sit, they observe, they say almost nothing. And without knowing why, everyone in the room watches them. Or consider another scenario. You are in a disagreement. You explain your position clearly. The other person says very little, just looks at you, waits. And suddenly, you feel the need to fill that silence. You talk more. You over-explain. You start to doubt yourself. They said nothing, and yet somehow they won. This is not magic. This is not mystery. This is psychological leverage, completely available to anyone willing to understand it. Why does silence produce discomfort? Because the human ego needs resolution. It needs feedback. It needs to know how it is being received. The philosopher Blaise Pascal observed this centuries before modern psychology confirmed it. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Silence from another person is unbearable because it offers nothing to react to. And when we cannot react, we cannot perform. The person who over-explains is not confident. They are afraid of being misread. The person who immediately justifies themselves is afraid of being judged. The person who fills every silence is afraid of what silence might reveal about them. The quiet person has no such fear. They have learned something others have not, that the need to be understood immediately is a form of weakness. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "The most spiritual human beings feel the happiness and power of slowness." Silence is not passivity. It is the most disciplined form of communication available. Because every word you speak is a piece of information you are handing to the world. Every reaction reveals your priorities. Every explanation exposes your insecurities. Every justification signals that you need approval. The quiet person reveals almost nothing. And what cannot be read cannot be countered. What cannot be read cannot be dismissed. What cannot be read commands attention. This is what the philosopher Lao Tzu encoded in an ancient principle. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. This is not about arrogance. It is about precision. Silence used with intention is not emptiness. It is restraint with purpose. And restraint with purpose is the foundation of all real authority. So how do you develop this? Not by pretending, not by performing mystery, but by retraining 2 fundamental instincts. The first tool, the 3-second rule. When someone says something that provokes you, wait 3 full seconds before responding, not to seem calm, to actually become calm. In those 3 seconds, ask one question internally. Does responding immediately serve me or serve them? Most reactive responses serve the other person. They reveal your trigger points. They transfer your power into their hands. 3 seconds interrupts that transfer. William James, the father of American psychology, observed, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. The pause is where that choice lives." The second tool, reduce your vocabulary of justification. Stop using the phrases, "let me explain." "The reason I did that was..." You have to understand. These phrases announce that you are seeking approval for your decisions. Instead, state your position. Then, stop. Not rudely, not coldly, simply without the architecture of justification. If someone asks for an explanation, you can provide one. But you do not volunteer it unprompted. The person who justifies constantly is already losing the argument. The third tool, strategic non-response. Not every provocation deserves an answer. Not every accusation requires a defense. Not every question is honest. Some questions are tests. Some challenges are invitations to expose yourself. The philosopher Seneca was precise on this. Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. When someone makes a provocative statement in a group setting and looks to you for a reaction, give them your calmest expression. Hold it for 2 seconds, then redirect your attention elsewhere, not with aggression, not with dismissal, simply without reward. Because a provocation that earns no reaction is a provocation that dies immediately, and the person who launched it is left exposed before everyone present. The fourth tool, slow your physical pace. This is often overlooked. Anxious people move quickly, they speak quickly, they respond quickly. Composed people operate at a different pace. When entering a room, slow down slightly. When someone asks you a question, breathe before answering. When you sit down, settle before speaking. This is not theater. The body is not separate from the mind. When you train your body to move with deliberateness, the mind follows. Carl Jung understood this principle deeply. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Composure begins internally, but it must be expressed physically to carry weight. Let us bring this together precisely. The fear that quiet people produce is not irrational. It is an accurate response to a real signal. The signal is this: I do not need your validation to know what I am. That is what silence communicates when it comes from a disciplined mind. Not hostility, not indifference, sovereignty. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire while writing private meditations on self-mastery, understood, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The quiet person has internalized this. They are not performing composure, they have built it, through consistent refusal to react without intention, through consistent refusal to speak without purpose, through consistent refusal to seek approval through volume. And the world reads this, not always consciously, but always accurately. You do not need to be louder, you do not need to explain more, you do not need to convince anyone of what you already know to be true. The most dangerous thing you can become is someone who does not need to prove anything, because that person cannot be baited, cannot be destabilized, cannot be read. Epictetus left us with this: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. The rest includes their opinion of you. Speak when it is worth speaking. Be still when stillness serves you better. And understand this: silence, wielded with discipline, is not the absence of power. It is its purest form. If what was said here resonated with you, not emotionally but intellectually, then this channel was built for your mind. Subscribe, not out of habit, but because precision thinking, applied consistently, changes how you move through the world. And leave a comment below, not a reaction, a reflection. Where in your life has silence served you? Where have you lost ground by speaking too soon? The conversation in the comments is part of the work. Think carefully before you write. That discipline alone is already the practice.